and welcome to the latest instalment of the Rangers Women's Supporters Group podcast. Tonight it's just Car and myself. How are you doing, Car?
Yeah, not bad. A beautiful sunny day, good day at Ibrox. Can't be too mad.
Doesn't get much better than that. So we were at Ibrox today for Rangers versus Hearts, back in SWPL action after our lovely cup win last week that we're all still buzzing off. So we started with Fife and goals: Docherty, Eddie, Hill, Hay, Howitt, Hardy, Cornet, Lafay, McLean, and McCleary. Reasonable team. A couple of changes in there, but mostly what we expected, Car.
Yeah, I thought maybe Lizzie and Wilco would start. So obviously Rio and Jodie. Sorry, blanked on Jodie's name then. Sorry, Jodie. But other than that, yeah, very strong team. Happy to see Mia Macaulay back on the bench, although I assumed that she wouldn't get any minutes because she's just back from injury.
Yeah, a good strong team, as we expected, and we got off to quite a good start early on. Bit of a mistake from the keeper. We had just literally said, why is the keeper it that far? And then Brogan mugged her in the ball and ran up and stuck it in the net. Nice wee goal.
Yeah,
Brogan's first Ibrox goal as well, so that's a nice little bit of information.
so it is, because I hadn't thought about the fact that Brogan hadn't scored at Ibrox, so that's a good stat there. We don't have Alan the stat man, but Laura's filling in for him today. Yeah, I mean, a couple of minutes before she actually scored, the keeper did the same thing, was playing a bit fast and loose with the ball, and this time Brogan managed to nick it off her and just kind of take her time. I thought maybe she would just hit it, but she waited and ran a little bit further forward and made sure it was going into the back of the net, which was nice to see. The kind of fast start. We always like a fast start, and I believe it was the 7th minute, which is quite fitting for Brogan to score her first Ibrox goal in the 7th minute. It's nice.
Yeah, I did notice that at the time when it was 7 minutes in. I was like, oh, quite good. She timed that well. I think that's why she probably ended up with cramp at the end of the game as well, running with the ball that much. Must be a little bit of pain in the calves for the second half. But yeah, then we had a few other chances to go further ahead. Like Hearts just didn't seem like they were at the races at all.
No, they didn't really show up much, which is weird because Hearts have been pretty good this season, but they had a couple of half chances, but nothing too much. We dealt with it pretty well, and we had a good few chances, and Brogan was getting pulled all over the place, and their players were all over us, and the ref forgot his cards, it seemed like, for most of the game, especially first half. But we were really in control, we were dominating, we were doing everything that we usually do, so it was nice to watch for a change.
Yeah, it was. And as you say, there should have been a card. Kirsty Howitt got booted, let out a big scream, and apparently that's all right to do in football these days. Their second goal did come through Rio Hardy, because of course it did. She loves a goal at Ibrox, and Brogan got the assist this time.
Yeah, goal and assist in the first half. Not too bad for Brogan. Lovely cross in for the back post, and Rio's at the back to just nod it in as she usually does. She's good for a header, is Rio. So yeah, we were in control at that point. Really ran away with it. It was good. It was a good performance.
Yep. So going in 2-0 at half time's ideal, really, isn't it? I think you were fine. I was a bit worried before it because we seem to just have this thing at Ibrox where it's like the top 6 teams, and then we're top 5 teams. And we seem to kind of struggle, but we're in total cruise control, continued for last week. And I think probably playing on consecutive games on grass has obviously helped us. Plus, we had absolutely soaked the grass, which also seems to help us. So we went in very comfortable at 2-0.
We did, and they also soaked whoever was sat in the first kind of 10-15 rows of Ibrox at the start when the players had gone back in after warming up, and we were quite glad to be in the back row and not getting soaked by the sprinklers, but that was quite funny. But yeah, the ball was moving quite well. There was a couple of iffy bounces here and there, but we were just doing what we did last week. It didn't seem to phase us too much, which I think probably does help, having had the cup final on grass and then immediately going to Ibrox. So as much as we moan about them moving games to Ibrox, it probably was the perfect one to do it after the cup final. So we'll give them some dues for that.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a nice day, so Ibrox on a sunny day is always welcome. Came out the second half, and we started as we pretty much did in the first half. Rio getting her second of the game, and this time Kirsty Howitt with the assist, who was getting pulled about left, right, and centre as well. But she managed to get her assist, and Rio got her second of the game.
Yeah, I think Hearts were kind of tired or maybe frustrated at that point and were just grabbing anything that was running past them. Like there was a few dislocated shoulders coming at one point, but that's by the by. But we basically just reversed the goals straight back at the second half, and Rio's back on the score sheet. Brogan Hay, it was like a short corner kind of routine, comes to Kirsty Howitt, puts it into Rio, who heads it in again. So basically just not quite carbon copy, but close enough from the first half goal that she scored. So yeah, straight back out, fast start again, and just there was no way Hearts were coming back from that.
No, gets more comfortable. Brogan waits all this time for an Ibrox goal, and then she grabs another one.
She does, and what a beautiful goal it was. Chelsea needs a lot of credit for this. She does really well to keep the ball in. Oh, Cats just decided to jump up on. No. It's fine. It's fine. I was going to knock my monitor over there. Kirsty Howitt takes a shot, the keeper saves it, kind of goes up into the air, and Brogan's there to just volley it past the keeper into the back of the net. Keeper goes down with cramp after it, so we get a good long celebration and a minute to regroup after the fourth goal, and it was just a wonderful end to the wonderful end to that part of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Keeper we usually praise the keepers all year because they usually have fantastic games against us, but the Hearts keeper just had an absolute nightmare. That second one for Brogan, she just doesn't clear it straight back into Brogan's path, and Brogan obviously lapped it up as you would. So we were hoping that one of them was going to get a hat trick, but that was all the goals for the day, unfortunately. Then we made loads of substitutions. Kirsty and Kathy went off for Wilco and Tess, which we thought was kind of odd. No, we knew Kirsty and Kathy were going to have to go off after the amount of running they did last week, but Wilco and Tess coming on, we were thinking it should have been Laura Berry, who did eventually come on, but would have liked to see her getting a bit more time.
Yeah, and we also didn't notice that Raf wasn't on the bench, which I didn't mention at the start when you're talking about the team, which is a bit of an odd one, so hopefully she's all right, and it's just a case of resting and making space on the bench or something. I'm not really sure, but a bit of an odd one. But yeah, Tess coming on wasn't, that weird. It seems to be a common thing at the moment, but then we moved Leah centrally instead of just putting Tess in the centre. I don't know why we continue to do this. It really annoys me, and Alan will be glad he's not here to moan about it for the 16th time this season. But yeah, a bit of a weird one. Did think maybe Laura Berry and Jane would come on, but it didn't really matter at that point. The game was done. So
yeah, well, Laura and Jane did eventually come on, but they were only getting 15 minutes ish. Rio and Camille went off, and obviously those two came on. Camille had another great game, as she keeps doing. She seems to be in a good bit of form, and obviously Rio scores all the goals.
She does. I mean, Camille was terrorising that midfield, just very Kirsten McLean-esque. I don't like to compare them because they're two very different players, but she does do that where she can just keep the ball and run past players and do all the flicks and tricks that she can do. But the speed on her is unmatched. She's just an incredible wee player, and I really do genuinely hope we get to keep her. But we'll come to that in the summer once, we're at that point. But she's just an incredible wee player. Really happy that we've managed to get her this season.
Yeah, definitely. We obviously had another few chances here and there, but said we never added to it. Brogan did have cramp, as we said, that she was doing some stretches and that, but she's not been called up for international duty, so Jo was making sure she was getting her money's worth out and took Jodie off instead of Lizzie, because Jodie also seemed to have an injury or some sort of cramp or whatever, so Lizzie got on as her last substitute for the day, and like Jodie had another good game as well, so it's all good.
Yeah, I did think Brogan would go off. Just the amount of stretching she was doing, it really did look like she was struggling. She was almost directing her body towards the bench and doing her stretches as if to say, guys, can I come off? But as you say, not called up for international duty, so we'll have a week off and hopefully lots of rest and salt and water or whatever you do for cramp that'll sort her out, carbs or something. I don't really know what the protocol is, but it didn't seem to phase her. Like, obviously she was struggling a bit, but she didn't change. It's not like she slowed down or stopped what she'd been doing throughout the rest of the game, so it didn't really impact that much. But as you say, Jodie went off a well-deserved rest. We did have a few more chances. Laura Berry probably should have scored, but then my predictor wouldn't have been right, so I'm quite happy that there was no more goals and I was right with 4-0.
Yeah, I think we were kind of willing Laura to actually get a goal because they'd done all the promotional stuff during the week with Laura, and we were like, oh, she's maybe going to get like a half at least, but wasn't meant to be. But she's young enough; she's got plenty of Ibrox games to come in the future. So it finished 4-0, fairly comfortable in the day. Hearts really weren't up to much at all, so another one ticked off the list, and we just keep marching on towards the title, hopefully.
That's it, isn't it? That's the aim. That's the hope. You just have to, as they say, one game at a time, and we've done that. We've got, what was it, 8 games left in the league, and then a couple of cup games to go, hopefully. So, not too long left, but just got to win the ones that are in front of you. And Hearts made it kind of easy for us today. Thankfully, their goalkeeper being horrendous helped a little bit, but obviously some good goals in there. So we break next week with international, and then we're right back to it with just a small game after that.
We'll come to that, but we'll go to player of the match first, which I think sort of picks itself at this point after how much we've spoken about her. But who are you going to go for?
Yeah, I have to agree with the sponsors when they picked Brogan Hay for player of the match. She was obviously a couple of goals and an assist, and kind of secondary assist if we go that far back for one of the other goals, which is absolutely terrorising the defence. I don't know if the thought of Mia coming back maybe spurred her on a little bit, and I need to actually pick up my game a little bit because Mia's back and I might get dropped potentially, but it's just Brogan, isn't it? It's just what she does. She's back to her best, which is what we want to see. So for me, it's Brogan.
Yeah, well, I think she was really good last week as well. She got a couple of assists in that, so I think she's another one that's starting to get a good bit of form. But it's one of them that you're actually annoyed that it's an international break because we are picking up into, like, we're finally got to the team that we're wanting, playing how we're wanting, and then international break. So I would have to say Brogan as well. She was phenomenal again today, and as we say, hopefully they do get the rest and recovery and whatever, and then we come back absolutely firing after the international break, which is up next. And we did have some players called up for that. I think pretty much the same as the last time. Leah, Innie, and Chelsea for Scotland. Thelma's away to Iceland. Raf's away to Northern Ireland, and Liv is called up again for the under 23s. So a few away, not as many as we have had away, but that's selfishly not a bad thing because they seem to go away on international and pick up injuries. So I think at this point in the season, the least that go away, the better.
Yeah, obviously I feel like Nick would probably be raging that obviously she got called up because Mia got injured last time and replaced 2 players because she's just that good, but then didn't actually play, so it made little to no difference, to be honest. But, it's obviously something that they look forward to. They like going away with the country, but for me, I'm like you, I'm quite happy if maybe they don't get called up because then there's no risk of them getting injured. They can rest, they'll do the training that they would do during the week with the team, and it'll be fine. But obviously the ones that go away, we want them to do well. We're go and watch the game, so you want them to do well and hopefully get some minutes between them, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. All I care about is Rangers doing well.
Yeah, we also had some of the young team picked. There was that many because we've got such a talented bunch of youngsters, but again, good for them. I think they're like the 19s are in Scotland again this time, so I think there is games that people can go to if they really want to, but yeah, good for them to get picked as well. It's more experience, more minutes for Laura Berry to showcase her talent and get picked, hopefully, in a near future. Although we have got Celtic up next, so she'll maybe not be on the score. Well, be nice if she was on the score sheet for that one. On the team sheet first for that one, but a big game after the international break.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect that she would start the Celtic game, but I mean, I would love it, but I don't think she would because she'd probably end up getting a red card in the first 15 minutes by punching someone or getting in a scrap with someone. So maybe she's not quite at that point, but as much as I would love it if she could come on and score against them, it would just be unreal. But yeah, I mean, I'm quite confident about that game, which is probably terrible and probably means it's going to be a draw because I'm actually able to make this game and I've not made. Well, the last game that I made was the home game and we ended up 2-0 up and then drawing 2-2, and then I've not made any of the other games and we've won those. So people are probably wanting me not to go because maybe we'll win that one, but unfortunately I can make it. So if we do end up drawing or losing, that is on me because that's just how that works. So I'm confident, but if it does go wrong, it's my fault.
If enough people put in the comments, "Car don't go," Car will not go. So
Well, I mean, how many people are we talking to? Because if it's one, then I'm not listening. But if there's hundreds, sure,
enough people, one or more.
No, it'll be you. You'll be in the Calvin's car. You can't go.
40 accounts, Car don't go. Well, so that game's the 13th of April. It is at Broadwood. So you do the score predictor, probably predict 1-1 or 2-2 or something because that's what usually happens. But it should be a good game. We're kind of on the ascendancy whilst they're going backwards. So, but it's an old firm game. Form is at the window, so we'll see what happens. But the league is hotting up this season, so it's definitely going to be an exciting game to see who comes out the winner.
Yeah, I mean, these games are very hard to call. Obviously, the last couple has been tighter than we probably would have liked, but realistically, the performance has been better than the score has made them look. But, you know, they've just lost to City on Friday, so obviously one they'll be raging about potential there, but as form goes out the window, you just don't know. You can never call it. It depends if we show up like we have today and last week at the cup final, we'll absolutely batter them. But it just depends how they show up and if the nerves get to us or if it's just one of those things you never know what's going to happen. But we play the way we can, we'll be fine. But I don't know. I always sit on the fence with these things because you just never know. It could come back to bite you.
Yeah, I think that's a couple of defeats they've had in a row now as well, isn't it? So they are going to be wanting to obviously correct that, or their manager might be at the door sooner than it can close on her. But yeah, it's just going to be one of those games that I think it's just whoever turns up on the day. But hopefully it's us, and we kind of turn this Broadwood hoodoo that we seem to have put over ourselves around. It's a 4:10 kickoff and will be on BBC Alba, so that's always a good factor as well, isn't it?
Well, it is because people can then ask you if it's on TV and you get to say yes this time. So, you know, positives and all.
Yeah. So the loan report, who's played today and how did they get on?
So Motherwell, they lost 3-0 to Hibs, which is very annoying for things because they were like 0-0 up about 30, 40 minutes in. I was thinking, oh, that's fine, we'll be all right. But they ended up scoring, but never mind. Sophie Black started and played 59, 60-ish minutes. Ailey Austin got the full game, which is nice. It's always nice when they get full games. Hamilton, Abby Tobin and Sophie Towns, well, they all started. I don't know, I've done it in a weird order. Abby Tobin and Sophie Townsley was their 25th appearance for Hamilton,
Wow.
which is crazy when they only went on loan last season. So they've obviously played pretty much every game
Yeah,
going.
so that's good for them. Good experience.
And Kirsten Love started. They all started. Sophie Townsley played 90 minutes. I don't know how long the other two got because they didn't actually mention the subs. But Sophie Townsley scored the first goal, and then it ended up 2-2, and then she scored the winning goal. So she's got a fair amount of goals. I don't have the stats, but I'm sure Alan signed off somewhere with how many goals she scored this season because it's just incredible. She's a goal scoring machine. But they were playing Livingston, so obviously Livingston lost. But Summer Laird's not in the squad and hasn't seemed to be in the squad for the last kind of month or so. So maybe she's picked up an injury or something that the club haven't announced anywhere, so we don't actually know what's going on there. Gart Cairn played Kilmarnock, so that's again both teams that we have players at. Mia MacArthur started and played the full game. Maddie Maxwell started and was subbed about the 60th minute. For Kilmarnock, Jess Linden started. Abby McMillan was on the bench. I don't think she came on. I don't know how long Jess got because they didn't actually put when they were subbed. If they could put their times on tweets of when they were subbed, that'd be helpful. But at least I know that they played. For Queen's Park, they played Dundee United and ended up winning. Millie Payton played 70 minutes. Sophie Rutherford, if I could speak, played the full game and she scored the winner. So that ended up 2-2, and then she scored the winner with, I think, about 10 minutes to go. So another one of our players scoring goals. Something about being called Sophie and being on loan at other teams, scoring winners today. It's just good to see. Spartans, Casey McKenna played 72 minutes. They beat Montrose 3-2. So lots of wins and a couple of draws. And I think that's everyone.
Lots of good experience here. That's an incredible stat for Hamilton, though. Like, how they played. That's an incredible amount of games, but that's exactly what they're out on loan for, getting experience. They're key parts of that team now, so as long as they come back and obviously get time with us rather than going out on loan anywhere else or sold. But Sophie Townsley is just on absolute fire now.
She's just running the show, isn't she? It's just incredible, isn't it? When it's not a name that you really come across much when you think of our academy players, you think of other ones like Elios and what have you, but she is just quietly doing her business at Hamilton. Hamilton's a good club. We send a lot of players there and they seem to come back really good. So I don't know if she'll come back to us in the summer and maybe go back out on loan to them. Hamilton are looking pretty certain to come back up. So it'll be interesting to see if we do that or if we maybe keep her on, but then she probably wouldn't get as much game time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the summer. But she's just absolutely killing it. They all are, to be fair, but she obviously stands out because she's scoring a lot of goals and kind of doing the good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And if they do end up going back on loan to Hamilton, then it's SWPL experience rather than League Two. So why not, eh? So yeah, we'll leave it there. And we will not be here next week because it's international break and we're deserving some time off. So we'll be back after the Celtic game, which fingers crossed is a good result for us, and we can be sitting here happy again for another week. Hopefully we'll be joined by Alan because he was living it up in hospitality today, so he's having a wee break today. So we'll hopefully have the 3 years back in a couple of weeks. And thanks as always for joining me, Car.
Thank you. I hope everyone that was in hospitality, all 600 of them or however many there was, had a great time, although the attendance today was shocking. So that needs to be worked on, but we can moan about that another day.
Yeah, we'll end on a positive instead.
Yeah.
Enjoy the break and we'll see you very soon.